Me coming into that, you have to perform. You know, Keno wouldn't allow you not to. You know, I loved Keno. I thought it was fair. I'm the sort of character, if I do something wrong, I need someone to tell me off.
So how many tellings off, as you put it, did you get from Sir Alex?
Oh, I got loads, yeah. Absolutely loads.
What is that hairdryer treatment like?
It's not nice. I'm the sort of character that doesn't like to let anybody down. There's not a better feeling I've ever had since '99. Just the way we won. I don't think Man United should be the sort of club that keep changing the manager. Because I've been a player, I'm sort of a player person. I think the players need to stand up as well.
How important could the FA Cup and winning it be for Eric Ten Hag?
Oh, absolutely massive.
Hello everybody, and a warm welcome then to In The Zone, a series brought to you by Gambling Zone, the trusted online gambling comparison site. In this series, of course, I get to speak to some of the biggest names in sport, talking about their successes, the challenges they face to reach the very top of their game. This week, I am delighted to be joined by a former Premier League footballer, spent 19 years at Manchester United, winning 15 trophies, including 5 Premier League titles, 2 Champions League, chucking a couple of FA Cup and League Cups in the mix. Hailed as Sir Alex Ferguson at one point as the best national defender this club has seen for a number of years. He played for England as well in the 2002 World Cup. He is Wes Brown. How are you, Wes?
Brilliant, yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, good to see you too. How you been?
Not too bad, busy.
Yeah.
Which is good, but good to be here today. Don't often come to London, so there you go.
It's a nice little treat for you coming down south. I mean, look, I love talking about the early years and as to where it all started. So you grew up in Longsight in Manchester. Yeah. What was a young Wes Brown like?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I would say a young Wes Brown was very sporty. We was always on the street playing football. I know you don't see that nowadays as much.
Yeah.
With all the
Why
game,
is that?
all the game in the phones, it's just a little bit different. But that's what we did. Always loved playing football. But at school, our main sport was basketball. So we had the England manager, retired England manager basketball team, was a school teacher, and he was at our school. And we actually won the national championships at age 13, 14.
No way.
Yeah, so we would be buzzing going to school to play basketball. And then we used to turn up to play football. We didn't do any training and win most games. Yeah. But our main sport was basketball, yeah. So, we did everything. We didn't do rugby, that wasn't in our school, but every other sport, badminton, cricket, we loved it. We just got involved in everything.
Were you any good at basketball?
I was point guard. I used to call myself Scottie Pippen, but the younger generation won't know who that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't want to be Jordan, because everyone's Jordan. Yeah. But Scottie Pippen. So yeah, we just loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Did you ever want to be a professional?
It got to the point, because I used to go to England tryouts.
Yeah.
And when you get to like 13, 14, you can, there's England teams at that age. But then it started sort of messing with football. So you have to pick one.
Right. And that was a no-brainer.
No-brainer for me, yeah.
So at what point did you think you were, okay, you know what, with a football, I'm pretty good?
It's a good question, that, because it was always good with me touch and everything, but I used to play right wing. I would get on Manchester boys right wing, so we're talking 11, 12. And then one day, Sunday League team, it's a very famous Sunday League team called Fletcher Moss Rangers. You got quite a few players coming from there. The defender was ill, and the manager, one of the dads, has gone, will someone play centre back? And I put my hand up, and that's how it sort of started. And I hated it,
right? But
that's how it started.
So centre back was your first defensive position. Right back came into it further down the line.
Further down the line, yeah. But my main position is right wing.
It is right wing.
Yeah. But to be fair, I started enjoying at the back because I was very quick when I was younger. Yeah. So any long ball, you know what kids' football's like, I would always get there, sort of turn out and pass it. And that's sort of how it started.
So what was it like at 12 years old when you signed as an academy
Yeah, it was.
Manchester United. Did you always want to play for United?
Yeah.
There was only ever one team
In my head, yeah. Well, the funny thing was when I went to centre back in the next 3 months, my dad got a phone call off Oldham saying he would like me to come. My dad just said I think it's a bit early because he'd only just been starting playing. And then I went on trial at Man City, didn't get on. And this is not a lie. 2 weeks later, Nobby Styles phoned my dad and said, "Is he anywhere?" And he's like, "No." He goes, "Right, he's in here," and that was it. Pretty much, very weird, yeah. Very weird conversation as well.
What was that like for your dad to have Nobby Styles on the phone?
He was like, spoke to Nobby Styles, and because he was our manager then, sort of the youth team.
Yeah.
And that was it. 2 weeks after the sort of City trial, which I didn't get on, I was in United.
And I know you made your name as a young youth player as well at United. You won the Jimmy Murphy Trophy.
I did, yeah.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
And very few had managed to win it twice. I mean, the only other person back then was Ryan Giggs.
Yeah.
So you clearly were a talented youngster.
Yeah. Do you know what? I would say there wasn't many on our team, if I'm being honest, in our squad. And I think Cobby could easily do that again this year because he won it last year.
Yeah.
Mainu. But yeah, it's a good achievement. I mean, if any of you ever get a chance to go to Carrington, the Jimmy Murphy sort of centre, it's great and shows all the youth team through the years and all the different players that have won stuff. So it's an honour to be on there.
But what was it like being at the United training ground, seeing the superstars, and there you are as a 14, 15-year-old, just waiting for you to get out there on the training ground? Yeah,
and it's this way it takes not a turn, but I didn't sort of be there for 2 years because I went to, it was called Lillishall, the National Sports Centre, which is basically boarding school for football. So I wasn't there for 2 years, so I mainly joined when I was 16, which is your first year YTS.
So what was that like?
And brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'd get the bus in.
I heard it was 2 buses.
It was 2 buses, yeah. 192 and M10. Sorry, I just remember these things you don't forget.
Yeah.
And then on a Sunday, I had to sort of jog because there was no bus on the Sunday to Salford, which is not that far really. But just going to the cliff at the time. When we've gone back now, it's so small. I don't even know how we had a youth team, reserves, and first team in there. But obviously, you go in, you get in a bit earlier than everyone else, and obviously you've got to do your jobs. I know they don't do jobs anymore. Make sure everything's tidy. And then you just see the first team come in, which is crazy, just coming out of school. And you've got, Keane, Cantona, Hughes, and you just see these guys on the telly, and they're just going, morning. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so it's a bit bizarre, but you get used to it. And then, for me, I was very lucky every now and again, you get Kiddo or the gaffer saying, "Where's you with us today?" And then that's it, you're sort of training with the first team, which is bizarre.
I heard Sir Alex Ferguson found out you were taking a couple of buses into training. Some incident happened, right?
Yeah, an incident.
And then because the other kids have got either taxis or they got their parents to drive them in.
Yeah, I mean, my dad could take me, but obviously sometimes he couldn't for whatever reasons. But it was normal for me to get the bus, and then there was a small incident on the bus. When I started training with the first team.
Just a friction with someone.
And from that I got a contract, which is pretty funny, yeah.
It's funny how these things turn out, isn't it?
Because he kept telling me to get a taxi, and I was saying I can't afford a taxi, boss.
Yeah.
So that's how that sort of worked.
So do you think he admired that?
I think, do you know what, it was normal then. You're talking like 95, 96.
Yeah.
It's a bit different to now. You wouldn't expect, a very talented young lad who's playing in the first team now to get on the bus. But it was normal then. So that's what people have to keep in mind.
So 97, 98 is when you kind of made that initial breakthrough. But your first proper season was 98, 99.
Yeah, that's crazy, yeah.
What? I mean, come on, this is the treble winning season for Manchester United. And you played a huge part in 2 of the 3 trophies.
Yeah, I've played quite a lot of the games.
What a first season. You must have thought, I mean, this football stuff is quite easy.
You do. I don't mean easy, but you think, oh, well, it's going to be like this all the time, sort of thing. You learn quickly, it's not. But I mean, what a great, squad that was. For me, looking up as, trying to learn off people, the mentality, the commitment, this willpower to win, the focus that the team had was frightening. And obviously there was a few of us young lads sort of in and about the squad then, and you learn so much. But yes, you do think, oh, this is going to happen every year. Obviously it doesn't, but what an achievement, and I was so happy to be involved in all them sort of trophies.
But as a 19-year-old, and you've just seen, the first British side to get the treble, are you able to take it in?
No, I don't understand. No, I don't understand it. You don't take it in. You don't understand how much it means in that sense, whereas the older lads do.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, this is brilliant. This is good. No, but you do though. You're still a teenager. You're just thinking this is good, and you just want to keep it going. And I've been a part of some of the games, which was awesome.
What made that United team so successful?
I think it's the characters in the team. I mean, first of all, you've got, I would say, players who, one, give everything, all specific in the, in certain qualities. I mean, you look at, and all competing for positions as well. I mean, I always bring up the strikers, Yorkie, Coley, Teddy, Ollie. I mean, they would have got in any team starting lineup, but these are all fighting all season. And if I remember rightly, I don't even think Coley started the season. I think it was Yorkie and maybe Teddy, I wasn't sure. So they're always trying to get in the team. You've got Bex, who's the best, crosser of the ball I've ever seen. On one side, Giggs on the other. And then obviously things did change every now and again, but Scholes and Keano. Ronnie Johnson, Yapstam, Dennis, Gary Neville, Schmeichel. It's a good team. So me coming into that, you have to perform. Keano wouldn't allow you not to, in a way.
And how hard was that for you?
No, I liked it.
You relished that challenge? Yeah,
I'm the sort of character, if I do something wrong, I need someone to tell me off. So then I go a bit more, and everyone's got different personalities, but, I wanted to prove that, I'm more than capable of being in the team or when I'm playing. Yeah. So you just give it everything. I had no problem with that side.
So how many tellings off, as you put it, did you get from Sir Alex?
Oh, I got loads, yeah. Absolutely loads.
What is that hairdryer treatment like?
It's not nice. There was one, he was very clever, the gaffer, and you only realise it when you're older. There was one when we were playing at Ellen Road, we were winning 1-0, and I remember coming at our time, and you subconsciously you sort of think, well, I'm not in trouble because I played well. And he went in on me. And you just shock and just think, but he understood. When I went out, played even better. I was so angry inside because I'm the sort of character that doesn't like to let anybody down in a way. And anyway, I was furious just in the fact that I don't understand why he said it to me. I thought I've done okay against a big Viduka who was on form.
Yeah, Mark Viduka. Did you say anything back to him?
No. I'm looking like what? But then afterwards, one of my teammates, Mark Wilson, one of the young lads as well, he said to me, he goes, no, the manager was shouting, and he's laughing, and goes, yeah. I was like, I didn't even know why. And he goes, when you all left, he started laughing with the coach. You said he played even better now. It's clever, do you know what I mean? Wow. But the gaffer knew who to do that to and who not to. But he definitely got the best out of you.
So who wouldn't he give the hairdryer treatment to?
I've been in one squad with Cantona, Keano. But these are sort of players you don't have to do it. They know themselves if they're not playing well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've only seen it with them two really. Because Keano was the manager on the pitch. He was respected, and the manager knew he would sort it out anyway.
And that competition for the right back berth, what was that like for you?
Yeah, so I was a bit lucky because I would come in centre back if Gaz. I mean, there was sometimes I played right back and Gaz played centre back. And halfway through the game, me and Gaz would look at each other and just swap it for whatever reason. I don't know whether we're playing against Big Dunk.
Yeah.
And I'd try and have a go at headers. It's all different now, the game's changed. But from a goal kick, we just swap it around. But yeah, it was good. I mean, you learn to do different things. It is a completely different game, right back to centre back.
You've mentioned so many star individuals. And I think a lot of football fans can reel off that starting 11 for United back then.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Roy Keane as the captain. Comes across no nonsense. Doesn't take beggars lightly. Is he always like that?
Yeah, I loved Keane. I thought he was fair. And what I mean by that is, it didn't matter whether you were a seasoned professional or a young lad. You're still getting the same, and I think that's where the respect comes from, because he doesn't just do it to the young lad there. He'd do it to someone who's been at the club 7-8 years as well, if it's a bad pass. But it's more the commitment side he would show, the passion, and that won us a lot of games.
But away from the football pitch, what was he like to socialise with?
Didn't know him.
You wouldn't know?
No, I wouldn't know. I mean, I know he stopped drinking at a certain point, but yeah, he wasn't. Everyone, you sort of go your separate ways. I was only the young lad, you see, so I would go home. I wouldn't necessarily chill outside of football with the lads.
And when you were playing with David Beckham, did you ever think years down the line, this fella's going to be a worldwide icon?
Yeah.
You could tell from back then?
Yeah, 100%, yeah. It's Bex.
But it sounds easy to say now.
No,
when you were there,
Bex is just Bex.
Even before Victoria came on the scene,
Yeah,
and there was the whole kind of footballer marries pop star kind of storyline. Even before then, you could see.
Yeah, I used to love Bex, and his football. Just the talent he had was different, and he probably don't get enough praise for it. But the way he worked, and obviously his passing range in general, I've never seen anything like it myself. But yeah, I mean, Bex was just, he had that personality about himself, and obviously the press, loved him. And then, we all know what he's gone on to do. But Bex, he was ledge. He was always ledge. And
similar with Cristiano. When you first saw him, actually, you came across him, did you not, when he was in that pre-season friendly?
Yeah.
Against Sporting Lisbon as a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, against Gaz. Brilliant. Well, you can see talent, you can see it. Because if someone's doing stuff on the pitch, and sometimes, I think when Ronnie O'Leary himself, he would do too many tricks. But you would go, he's not bad. Considering he's playing against some of the the best players in the world. And obviously the manager must have thought the same. And then he comes in as a young kid. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
And did you similarly think, like David, that this kid's going to go all the way?
I think you can see that. Obviously, it takes a while, but I think his work ethic first and foremost. You go, okay. He just didn't stop. If he did something wrong, do it again. He'd stay out. We know what his athletic ability is. So he's powerful. He's strong. He's doing all these tricks, and obviously, I think his debut, you could see a lot of that. And it took him. The best thing about Ronnie, I always say, is when you've got somebody like that, he learned himself very quick what to do. As in, the first few games, he'd do too many step overs, wouldn't cross it. Rude would be shouting at him, cross the ball, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But he worked it out pretty much straight away within the next season what he needed to do.
What was interesting is when he came back for that second spell, not that long ago, and just the way it ended.
Yeah, it's terrible.
With the interview and the World Cup coming up and all that. And obviously then he went to pastures new in the Middle East. Did he taint his legacy a little bit by the way it ended?
Maybe.
You think he did?
I think it maybe, but I think it got to the point. I mean, if you ask any fans now, they love Cristiano. I don't think it's been tainted in that way. But I just think if you're looking at it, could have been all done a lot easier. But obviously it wasn't going right for whatever reason. Me knowing Ronnie, he will want to play regardless. And, he's took that route to get out, because obviously there's no necessarily, he can't really come back from sort of that interview. And he went on to obviously go and play abroad again. But yeah, it's not ideal, it's not what you want. This is one of your best players that the club have ever had. But as I always say in football, nothing ever surprises me, and anything can happen.
Talking about surprises, when you were a youth player at United and you talk about Eric Cantona being there, what's this about the story that you lost his boots once when you were cleaning them?
Yeah, I used to clean his boots. I got.
I mean, if there's anybody's boots to lose, that's not it. Yeah, that's not one of them.
No, it's not, and I won't do the accent because I can't do it. But I just remember.
Go on, try.
No. He came into which he never does. He came into the youth, sort of bit one day, and he's like, "Where's my boots?" The panic, believe me, on your face, they should be on your seat. So I remember sort of jumping up, having a look at the boot room, not there. sort of stick my head in the first team room to check he's missed it, because we weren't necessarily allowed in the first team room as well. I've gone to see Albert. He's like, and he goes, "Don't worry." So someone probably nicked him. It could get me cleaners come in and everything.
Okay.
It's a bit different. Security was a bit different there. But I'm assuming that's what's happened. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, where are his boots? So Albert obviously had another spare pair, give him them. But yeah, the panic was, that was my first panic I ever had anyway.
Did you have to tell Eric that you couldn't find him?
Well, he didn't come back, but I passed him again. I was like, Eric, he goes, no problem.
Oh, he was fine with it, right?
Yeah, no, he's dead cool. No problem.
Look, if that was not particularly a highlight moment of your career, 2008 Champions League final.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that and Chelsea, because that was the second time you'd experienced winning the competition, but you were part of it this time.
Yeah. I mean, that was... First of all, that was the season I never got injured. I had bad knees. So all the way through, I did 2 cruciates, one in 99 and one 2003. So my knees, when you get spells where they weren't good for whatever reason, you know, people get injured and it's just how you deal with it, how you come back. Well, that season I had no problem with him. Very weird. Gaffer said to me, I want you to play right back. Obviously, Vidic and Rio absolutely smashing it. You know, we've got a good team, bond going on. And I was, obviously, I tell people I was very lucky. I was in 3 different squads. And what I mean by that is 6 or 7 players have changed and some people have come in. But this is the first time since the 99 one. So this was probably the 3rd squad I was in, where you're thinking, wow, we're good. We're very good. So it was, first of all, great feeling that season. You know, we were beating teams left, right and centre, but we had a good core of players who and a frightening attack. No, first of all, the defence was strong, but the attack, people would look at it and panic a little bit. And that was the first time that happened, I would say, since 99.
Yeah. And you played your part in Ronaldo's goal.
Yeah. It was funny because we weren't really into crossing. You know, we liked to play, but I think the manager found out for whatever reason. Essien, he was a midfielder, playing right back. So if there's any chance, we just get it in. It's simple, nothing too detailed. And yeah, it pretty much happened in the first 20 minutes and floated one in, and Ronnie, he was very good in the air, won that one, and he scored off it. So it was a good start from us.
So if you had to pick one moment of those 2 Champions League finals, which one would have the edge in terms of, you know, a particular highlight of yours? Would it be the 1999 moment or 2008?
It would have to be 08 because I played, like you said, but there's not a better feeling I've ever had since 99. Just the way we won.
Yeah.
You know, that feeling is, believe me, we didn't play particularly good that day, but just to score 2 in the last, you know, remaining minutes is one way to win it.
Which of those 2 teams would be better in the Premier League today?
Oof, God, I don't know. Obviously, the 08 would be more up to the style, I would have thought. But when you're talking about characters, you can't get better than 99. You know, tough. Probably wasn't as many in the squad as well that year, so people were battling on with all sorts of maybe little injuries here and there. I mean, that's all out of the game now. I think if you get injured, you put to the side for a bit.
Yeah.
And our team then just got on with it a little bit.
Yeah.
It'd be tough, it'd be hard.
Wes, I'm interested to know, I mean, I know you were around the England squad at the time that failed to make the Euros in 2008 under Steve McLaren. Yeah. Just considering the calibre of players that he had available, just how damaging was that at the time?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the talent that was there. I mean, things can happen, but yeah, we just didn't... I mean, I was in a lot of the squads, especially in friendly games or qualifiers. I didn't necessarily play a lot for England I think I was in the squad for 12 years, but I didn't play a lot. But it was always good going there, and like you said, the talent we had was incredible. But it just didn't mix, it didn't bond. For whatever reason. I mean, you talk about trying to play Scholesy on the left because you want to get Stevie and Frank in, which you can understand. It just didn't gel, did it? It didn't work at all.
Why was this conundrum between Frank and Steve? I mean,
I don't know. I have no clue. I wish I could tell you. but for whatever reasons, it just didn't work.
Was that a low point in your experience for England? And do you think it's always, from then on, they've learnt and, it's kind of been on an upward trajectory since?
Yeah, there's definitely a low point in the sense that, we should be qualifying for these, competitions, simple as that, with the talent that we have. The Premier League being the biggest, the biggest in the world, and the talent that comes from it. And obviously, if you look at our sort of squad that season, that's got to qualify, and obviously try and win sort of these competitions. So, like I said, very disappointing. Things can happen, and circumstances, things are not gelling at the moment. Things outside of football, you never know, but the disappointment was with all of us. I know obviously Steve gets a lot of that blame, but I think it's with all the players as well.
Do you have any regrets when you look back at your playing career?
I have one. I remember breaking my ankle.
Oh, hang on, is that the Champions League qualifier?
Yeah. So there's me and this guy, and we're just looking at each other. It was pretty much the first 10 minutes. It just kicks off, and he's running, I'm running, and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to, that sort of player I was, I'm going to go in for a tackle here. He did. But the ball actually went out of play, and we just tackled, and I broke my ankle. So I was out for 4 or 5 months.
So the ball's already out?
It was just out, yeah. But there was no foul, because we both went in.
Yeah.
Both got the ball, but I broke my ankle.
Okay.
And I could have jumped. That's the only regret.
And so how long were you out for?
About 4 months.
And how much did that take the momentum out of your kind of running the side then?
Yeah, it takes a lot out. I mean, I've been injured for longer, obviously, with my ACLs. But it's just like, why did I do it? So that's the point where I think, why did I do that? The ACLs is playing football, so turning, you can't. But that's the one where I know I could have jumped out of the way.
So it was just an innocuous thing, really, at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alex Ferguson, I just want to know more about him. Because it's a figure that still, even now to this day, looms large over Old Trafford. And to think that he was so close to retiring first time. Yeah. And then changed his mind.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what a decision that turned out to be.
Yeah, I remember him coming in saying, listen, lads, this is my last season. He had all saddles all down. And obviously you're shocked like anyone else. And then sort of change round. Oh no, I'm staying for a bit now. But yeah, I mean, he is... you're talking about characters, managing characters in the game. I've not met anyone as big as Sir Alex. Just, his presence, what he expects from you as players. And, there's no one better to learn off, I don't think.
It's been quite a challenge to replace him.
Yeah.
Do you think United will ever come across a figure like that again?
I mean, it's tough. I think it will. How many years that'll take, I don't know. But he obviously built a sort of a dynasty, didn't he? In his time there, way before even I was there. So, when somebody leaves, you always know it's going to be difficult. We've had some big names in since, struggled. Obviously, we've won stuff, but not. I wouldn't say we've dominated the way you would have thought. You can carry on.
Also just finally reflecting on your personal story. I talked to a lot of United fans. I mentioned to them that you're going to be a guest today, and how in that time that you were there, the 19 years that I've touched on, the 13 trophies, a lot of them will say of all those big stellar names and stars, you were always the more understated, the most underrated perhaps of a lot of them.
I just stay out of the way.
Yeah, but why?
Why not? I just go home. It wasn't my thing. I don't like necessarily the limelight. So I would just play my football, go home. I'd have a laugh with the boys. I'd do my bit on the pitch, but yeah, I wasn't bothered about anything else.
Were you not tempted to go down a different route, to try and almost, did it almost not force you, but kind of almost enjoy that kind of lifestyle that those other guys
No, not at all. No, it's just not me. So I was just go home, absolutely fine with that, no problem.
Would you agree that you were probably one of the more underrated of the players in that era?
I wouldn't say underrated. What I would say is I was there for a long time. If you look at some of the players that were there, a lot of them weren't there as long as me. But I would adjust and You know, the gaffer always knew he could trust me for whatever reason until my knees started getting really bad. And if I'm being honest, I remember saying to the gaffer, I'm just not up to the same standard. You know, you can still play football, but United standard, because I've been there for so long, I know what United standard is, and I can't do that running anymore. I can't get there, stop, start, blah, blah, blah. It's hurting too much. So the understanding's there, but no, like I said, it's if it was up to me, I would have stayed there.
Yeah.
I still had a year left before I went, but I was like, I'm going to try and play as much as I can. But that's what happens.
Talking of which, 5 years at Sunderland, a season at Blackburn, and then a season in India.
Yeah, Kerala
Blasters.
Yeah, I loved
in fact,
it.
I think I spoke to you
Loved it.
from the Premier League studios. We were talking about your time in Southeast Asia. How would you sum up your life after Manchester United as a player?
Yeah, I mean, Sunderland, first of all, that was completely different. That was a bit of a shock, because now you're talking about a team who was struggling a little bit. And then obviously the 5 years that we're there, you're sort of battling every season at the bottom to stay up. Completely different experience, and I'm glad I was there to see it, because I've seen the top part. This is the sort of part where you're wounded if you finish third in the league, even second.
Yeah,
you know, that's the disappointing side. You've not won a trophy, that's disappointing. Now you're talking about you could be losing a lot of games, and there's certain ones you have to win, you know, to stay up. And it was hard for me at the beginning, because as you know, players still have to live their lives. But when we used to lose at United, you know, I'd be devastated. You wouldn't see me for a few days, because you want to get, you know, you just want the next game to hurry up so you get back on this sort of winning run. When you're at Sunderland, it's a bit different. So I had to change a little bit how I thought about stuff and what I would do. But I absolutely loved it. The fans, the people, and it was just a different challenge. And when you get into that, it's really nice, and it's a great feeling when you sort of pull through that. But even though you it's relegation battle sort of thing, it was good to be involved in.
Okay, well, that's Wes's personal story, and a quick reminder, we are in the zone in association with Gambling Zone, your trusted online gambling comparison site. And next up, we're going to be talking to Wes about the current situation at Manchester United and a little look ahead to the Euros as well. Welcome back to In the Zone with former Manchester United defender Wes Brown. So let's talk about United in this current campaign. I mean, there is the danger of recording their lowest position in the Premier League era. It's not brilliant. I mean, what's your reading of where they're at right now?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a fan like everyone else now. And it's funny, when you're a footballer, when you watch games, say you're injured and stuff, you don't really say much. I am a proper fan now, which I can't believe. So yeah, just disappointing. Again, this season, you know, it's tough watch, because you think, you know, you go to last season, we'll start off with, and it's positive, very positive season, where we finish in the league, getting to 2 finals,
getting a cup,
winning a cup.
Yeah.
You're thinking this is where you want to be, but then this season's been difficult again. Yes, we're still in a semi-final of the FA Cup against Coventry, which we've obviously got a good chance of winning. But the league this season's it's like a game of two halves. You know, we can be really good and exciting, and then really poor at the same time. And you know, I'd say maybe 6-7 games ago, we were pushing for that Champions League spot. I mean, in a good sort of area. Only I think it was 4 points behind, whether it was Tottenham or Aston Villa at the time, and we've just completely fell off. You know, we've not played well. Well, we've played well at times. We've, you know, lacked concentration at times when we're winning games. You know, getting beaten injury time. It's just, yeah, it's not brilliant at the moment if you're a Manchester United fan.
You know, if you compare the points total now to 32 games, it's 4 less than David Moyes' season in 13-14.
Yeah.
I mean, that's worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bad. And listen, we can throw injuries in there and stuff, but ultimately we still need to be doing better than that. It's as simple as that. And I know a lot of people take it out on the manager. Because I've been a player, I'm sort of a player person. I think the players need to stand up as well, because even if it's not your first 11, if everyone was fit, that's playing, I think you have to have a sort of stature about yourself and respect about yourself that you need to go and play because even if you were sub, when you get on, you got to show the manager you're good enough to play, stay in the team, but it's just not quite happened. And like I said, it's been really good and really bad at the same time.
You see, now that's interesting because I suppose, the season that Erik ten Hag had last season, and yes, as you said, injuries have, and you can't deny that, but then other fans of other clubs have said, look, we've had injuries as well. If I had to ask a brutal question, you said the players should take responsibility. Yeah. Do you think another manager could get more out of the group of players that Erik ten Hag has had at his disposal?
I mean, you can say that, but I always feel, with what's happened and the way the injuries have come, you obviously now with the takeover and everything, I think you have to give the manager a little bit of time. It's simple as that. And I think there will be maybe some different changes in the summer, as in player-wise, and how Sir Jim Radcliffe, sort of controls that and how he wants to do that in his own way. And obviously they're looking at bringing some other people in on the football side to do that. But yeah, I think the manager has been fine. I mean, what he did last season, you've got to look at that and go, this is very good. And this season, I think we've dropped off a little bit. We've been missing some of our bigger players, especially at the back. I think it's the worst record we've ever had.
What, in terms of injuries?
No, as in letting them go.
Yeah. But shots on goal.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's second only to Luton.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen a stat like that, and maybe I think we letting in go. Yeah, I think it's second to Luton. Yeah, which is, come on, considering where we still are, we must have been doing something good.
Yeah.
I don't think we've drawn many games this season. I think it's been a win or a loss. I think we've lost maybe 12, maybe a bit more. Which is not good enough if you want to be, getting into them Champions League spots at all.
But you still think Erik ten Hag is the right man?
Yeah, I like Erik, and why I say this is, we've had big name managers in, and it's still been the same. So something's not right somewhere. I can't quite put my finger on it. The same thing has happened with them, and like I said, I think with what Erik did last season, I personally think you've got to give him time, because if you want to kick on, the injuries have killed him this year with some of the players he's put in, mainly the defence for me, because Martinez is a big miss for me, because he sort of changed it a little bit for us last season, just how busy he is and how he gets stuck in. I think he brings that sort of power to the defensive line. And we've missed it all season. Varane's been injured. I think he's missed half the games. So, where do you go with that? Do you have to bring someone else in? But like I said, I think he's got it, what it takes, but you have to. I don't think Man United should be the sort of club that keeps changing the manager. I don't. I think you have to give him a respectful 3-4 years to sort of get what he needs to get done.
See, one of the things you've got to judge a manager by is the improvement of players. I mean, I have to ask you, which players have improved under Erik ten Hag?
I mean, this season's not been good, has it? And that's as simple as that. It's not. You've got a couple of the young lads, obviously, that have been outstanding this season, in Garnacho and Kobe.
In fact, I think they've been the two main positives, right?
Yeah, they have. And that's a big bonus. But ultimately, the rest of the team, whether it's been injury or whatever, it's just not quite worked out. But again, I would always say you've got to give him one more season, simple.
Yeah, because the changes in the background at United. Yeah. Omar Barada's in.
Yeah.
We don't know about Dan Ashworth at the minute. Yeah. That's still up in the air right now. Jason Wilcox, perhaps. So it looks like there is kind of the piece of the jigsaw being put into place. But as far as you're concerned, I suppose the message to Sir Jim Ratcliffe is, look, let's just stick with what we've got right now.
I would. That's what I would do. And go off that. Obviously, I don't know when these changes happen in the background. I don't know what that means. Insert like who picks who and who does what. But ultimately, it's a change that there's a strategy to it. And like I said, I think the manager's done enough in the first 2 seasons to secure another season. I do.
Do you think also something that might help Erik ten Hag is that there's no real obvious candidate available at the minute? You read the papers as much as everybody else. Graham Potter's been linked, Gareth Southgate. But do you understand where I'm coming from with that question?
Yeah, I mean, listen, like you've said 2 names there. You know, would they be able to do the job? That's the key. That's what nobody knows. You know, like I said, we've had big name managers that have won stuff. You know, leagues, cups. They've won everything, Champions Leagues, and it didn't quite work. It's as simple as that. So something has to be changed, maybe somewhere else. And obviously, Sir Jim is doing that at the moment.
Let's have a look at some of the players this season. Marcus Rashford, after a terrific campaign last time round, it just hasn't happened for him. Yeah. Why is that, Wes? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know Marcus to say hello, but obviously that's because I'm around the club quite a bit. But yeah, it's not gone the way he would have liked to this season. Don't get me wrong. I think Marcus, out of everybody in the team, is the one who I think the press will focus on as well, because you know England. The goals he scored last year, you know, he's Man United's main attraction in that sort of sense. So, you know, he takes a lot of other people's stick as well. But yeah, he at times he's not been to the best ability that we know he can. You know, he hasn't been consistent, and that's like most of the team this season. But yeah, it's something that, you know, I think especially striker / winger, it can definitely happen too. You know, when anybody loses the confidence, it can go bad. But obviously, like I said, he's the number one attraction for the papers and the press to sort of go at, and which is fair enough. I'm sure he understands that, being at Manchester United. But yeah, he struggled a little bit on confidence this year.
It was interesting that he took to the media by penning that article about, you know, him growing up as a United fan and that's all he ever wanted, and he's giving his all. It was interesting that he almost felt the need to do that. So, in your eyes, you think he'd been made a bit of a scapegoat?
Sometimes, yeah, that's what happens. I mean, somebody needs a scapegoat somewhere. Then obviously Marcus would have felt frustrated that, you know, a lot of the stick's getting on him. You know, I mean, I think if you look, we've not scored many this. No one has, I don't think. I think at one point Scott McTominay was...
He was top scorer.
Top scorer, or level top scorer. So we have struggled there a little bit. But Marcus will get the brunt of that, because it's Marcus Rashford, and obviously what he's done in the last few years outside of football, he's the sort of target that will get most of it. But like I said, when confidence isn't running high, it's difficult.
One thing that's been spoken about this season, and you said about defensive fragility, shots on goal. There was a comment made in the wake of the recent result that the gap between the defence and the midfield is too big. And interestingly, Casemiro has kind of been spoken about by Jamie Carragher, who's always had a few doubts because he came at around 30 or just over.
Yeah.
For a hefty sum, 60, 70 million, but maybe not what United need right now as the 6.
Yeah.
So you need somebody to be a bit more mobile, to be with
Casemiro.
To be with Kobe. Do you agree with that?
No, listen. I think first of all is Casemiro's obviously a quality player. Yes, he's a bit older and might not be able to get around as much. I think he's a certain player that needs to play all the time. Does that make sense? You know, he needs a good run in games. When he comes in and out because of little injuries picks up, yeah, maybe he's not as good. But I mean, when I'm watching the games, a lot of our mistakes, individual mistakes, where people are maybe in positions. Yes, we could be tighter, and certain people could maybe not go as far up when we're in possession. But I think a lot of our mistakes are individual mistakes where we are just getting punished. But like you said, I mean, Casemiro for me is a quality player, but he needs a consistent amount of games to proper get at his highest level, and that can happen when you get to that age.
Talking of which, consistent games. Can you see Anthony becoming a regular starter? Yeah,
well, listen, Anthony is he started quite a lot at the beginning. He scored a few good goals, and then obviously got left out more recently. But it's actually, when he's came on, has actually been doing okay.
He made a difference, didn't he?
Yeah, the last couple of games, even maybe 3, you can see he's a bit frustrated because he wants to be playing. But I think that a little bit of timeouts helped in a sense that he wants to prove everyone that he's as good as he can be. But that's the thing, we've not all been on top of form the whole team hasn't been on top form, and that's where a few of the struggles have come. I mean, you can see at times they're working hard, but ultimately, we're making mistakes where we're getting punished every game.
Yeah. And do you think any form of Europe would be a bonus this season?
Yeah, I love Europe. I like the team being in Europe. It's still going to be very difficult to do now. It's still achievable, but we've got to win games now. It's that end of the season where every point matters.
Yeah. And talking of which, the title race.
Took a turn, didn't it, yesterday?
Who saw that coming then? I mean, well, look, City. Did you see both Liverpool and Arsenal dropping points?
So when it comes to them three, and this might sound bad because I don't want them to win it, but when it comes to them three batting it out, there's only one team for me that will win that, and that's Man City. And it's a simple fact that they've been there, done it. They've got that experience. I think Arsenal, Liverpool, if anything, Liverpool might be okay to not drop any points, that is. Keep it going. Obviously, I was very wrong on Arsenal. I thought they'd drop off very quick. They've still stayed in there, but I think the results at the weekend, was a bit of a shock to everyone. The way it happened, I think obviously the Aston Villa game was going to be tough, but I still expected them to win. But I don't know. I just see City getting into this rhythm again now. Obviously, a pretty comfortable win at the weekend, and I've gone top now, and I just can't see them losing again.
Yeah, interestingly, went top for the first time in 5 months.
Yeah.
It's like they've almost timed it to perfection. Right?
Yeah.
But you think
Liverpool
of the other contenders would be pushing them harder than Arsenal?
At the time, this was
No, what about now, from now on?
So now, Liverpool, you expected Atalanta to get that result, and then obviously the Crystal Palace at the weekend, you're like, what is happening? It's obviously
Are these worrying signs for Liverpool?
I think it's a little bit of pressure. I think then obviously it's worrying in the sense that the next game they know, that little bit of doubt might come in, so they know they have to win next game. But that's what it's all about. I miss these runs because it's all about who can handle it the best, because they're all good teams, but it's who handles it now and who doesn't make mistakes and who can boss a game, who can control games. And for me at the moment, that's Man City without any sort of trouble. They're the ones who are, and for me, don't look like dropping points.
So as a United fan at heart,
yeah,
how hard will it be, or would it be, to see City win 4 in a row and be that first team to put it in the Premier League?
Well, that's why I don't want them to win it. No, but it's a tough one. You're talking about 3 of our main, even when I was playing, Liverpool, City, Arsenal. I don't want any of them to win it, but for me, I would like Arsenal to win it. But yeah, I think there's only one team, and that's Man City. Obviously, it's still going to be tight. It'll be tight all the way. I just can't see them dropping points now.
How far off are United from being serious challengers to City?
Well, like I said, you need the players that we do bring in the summer need to be top-end players. Players that are bossing their positions. They bring a bit of character to the team, demand off the other players. That's the sort of players you need to bring in. Yes, there's players there, and you need to bring players that gel in as well. They gel with the team, because at times this season we've not been a team, we've been individuals, and that's where you can see the top 3. They're the teams, aren't they? They're playing together, scoring together. They get the defeat together.
But that sounds like a coaching thing.
Maybe, but like I said, with injuries, it's not helped because. Okay, how do I explain it? Martinez comes in, Varane comes in, both get injured. You're ending up playing with Harry's done brilliant, but Harry probably wouldn't be in if everyone was fit. So
Johnny's coming in.
Johnny's coming in. Lindelof's been injured. Shaw, possibly our best player at the beginning of the season, injured. And then Malacia gets injured. Then you've got to play Dalot left back. All these little things do not help, believe me. And the players you bring in, you want to be fit, because they're the ones that are going to take you to that next stage. But it's just not quite happened.
Wes, do you think if there's any doubt in Sir Jim's mind about where to go with the manager, how important could the FA Cup and winning it be for Eric Ten Hag?
Oh, absolutely massive. Like I said, last season was a fantastic start for Eric. You know, where we finished in the league, getting to both finals, winning the League Cup as well. And it's a great opportunity now for us to get to another final, but winning it is a big boost for anyone. I mean, Man United of the past are used to winning trophies of some sort, so it'd be massive for the manager. You know, this is one hill, what a win. You know, I'm not going to say you don't look at the league anymore, because of where Tottenham and sort of Aston Villa are. You know, you sort of still need to be playing well in the league to get to what you want to be doing against Coventry in the semi-final. And I think this is going to be a tougher game than people realise. There's all little things involved. Mark Robbins.
It's a great story.
It's a great story, and so the lads really do have to play well, because these are going to go for it. And as a Coventry team, you know, especially coming from the manager, you look at this team and say, listen, lads, these are letting goals. You know, we can get to these. So it's going to be a harder game than you think. But ultimately, I think United are expected to get to that final, and then obviously it'll be between Man City and Chelsea. So it'll be important if the manager can win this. It gives them a big boost, yeah.
Yeah, and judging by this season, you know, I don't mean to just overlook and dismiss Chelsea. Anything's possible, but on paper, City clear favourites for that tie.
Yeah.
And do you owe City one at Wembley?
Yeah. Do you know what? The last one, there was times in the game where they weren't at their top as well, and we was nearly, you know, we had a couple of chances here and there, but it just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't, you know, our day. But yeah, I mean, regardless who it is, it's going to be very difficult. But yeah, if it was City, this is one we definitely want to win that touch more from last season, and hopefully that can push you through. But first of all, you know, no disrespect to Coventry, they're the team that you've got to look at now and put out a team to beat.
Okay, let's round off by talking about England and the Euros.
Yes.
Do you expect them to go all the way in Germany?
I do. I've just got a feeling, obviously, fantastic squad now under Gareth for many years, and I feel like with the experience of the last one, you know, with the defeat, I just feel that helps going into this campaign. Obviously, a lot of the same players still, but still quality, and with new players as well. And I just feel we have enough dominance to get a long way in this competition.
So you think the painful memories of last time will spur them on?
100%, yeah. I think we've got the quality in midfield and sort of top half. We know what we're doing at the back. We can play, you know, various ways as well, if needed so. But I just think we've got a lot of quality, skillful players to dominate and get it done in that sort of sense.
Should Cobby go straight in?
Do you know what? I don't want to be biased and say yeah, but he deserves it. I think he shows so much maturity in how he plays. You know, I love a player, especially midfielder. He doesn't hide. He wants the ball. Can get out of trouble. You know, he passes forward. I think that's big for me as a midfielder. Pass forward. I think when we seen his debut for England, you know, little 1-2s. You know, I love all that sort of. It's like they're playing in the playground. No, but they are little 1-2, and you know, the players like Foden, Bellingham, they all love that as well. You know, they can all do that sort of style. Whether or not I start, I don't know. I do think he should go, because if you're sort of playing two maybe holding players, obviously Rice will be there, and then I mean Cobby could play there. Obviously there was Gallagher. There's a few, but I think he did enough to, even though it's very soon. I think he's done enough, and he did enough in the two sort of games he had to make the manager put a good question mark on it.
Isn't it amazing for a player who was injured in pre-season when everybody was saying he's the next big thing?
Yeah.
And we've had to wait right till the tail end of the season to see the best of him.
It's true. I was there when he got injured. Absolutely devastated for him. And obviously then you sort of, as you know, you sort of forgot about for a while because you've not actually done anything yet. And then you throw in him when we're struggling, and he's been our best player.
Should Marcus be starting?
I probably wouldn't start him. I think Marcus can be excellent coming off the bench as well, because he's such a threat with his pace, his ability to cut in and obviously score as well. But yeah, it's a tough one. You've got a couple of people who could.
Who would you play on the left then?
I mean, I like Foden just in a bit, but
Bowen is also a shout.
Bowen, like him. I mean, I don't know. The quality is there's a good few that could play there, but obviously Marcus will go. Whether or not he starts, I don't know. But he's a player that sort of, when it does come to these competitions, he steps up.
Big summer as well for Jordan Pickford.
Yes.
And you think it should be a big summer, not just internationally for him? What do you think? Should he?
Pickers?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Pickers he was my teammate at Sunderland, and great lad and good player. I'm sure Pickers will be fine. If you're talking about club, sort of club level, I mean, I just want Pickers to go to a bigger club. Sorry, Everton fans, but I just think he needs to be in that Champions League, playing in Europe, getting that sort of in him and experiencing him. But yeah, he'll start for England. But yeah, I think it's time for him to maybe, if there was ever a chance for him to move, to go to a bigger club so he can get this experience and be at the top level yearly.
So you think there's scope for him to kick on even more?
100%. I mean, listen, Everton was a great move for him from Sunderland. And Everton, it's in my eyes, it's terrible what's happening to the club at the moment with all the points deductions. But personally for Jordan, I feel like he needs to play in a bigger team.
Yeah.
Week in, week out, Europe, Champions League. I think it'll help his game massively.
Any surprise starters in Gareth Southgate's 11 for you or not?
No, I don't think there's surprise. I think the defence is what it is, the midfield is what it is, and obviously we got Harry up front.
And Ollie Watkins is number 2 maybe?
Yeah.
Behind him.
I think Tony did well.
Yeah.
In his game he played, the way it's different, but the way he held up the ball and gets everybody involved, I think was brilliant. So that's a tough one for the manager.
Would you like Gareth Southgate to be more on the front foot in the Euros?
I think we've got the flair in the team to do that, but ultimately you still need to be solid. I think when any sort of counter-attacking, we'll be fine. And if we can dominate the ball, we'll be fine. But I think, you have to keep it tight at the back.
Okay. We'll wait and see. Wes, listen, it's been so much fun. Really enjoyed the last hour or so. Thanks so much for your company.
Pleasure.
Wes Brown, our special guest on In the Zone in association with Gambling Zone, your trusted online gambling comparison site. I'm Manish Bhasin. I'll see you next time with another special guest.